Well, joining me now is Dr Madsen Pirie, president of the Adam Smith Institute, who has this week written a paper entitled Broken Britain, 16 Problems Facing the Country.
It's a lot more than 16. We didn't want the paper to be too big, so we just picked out the top 16.
And what's the common theme within all of these problems that the country sort of feels a bit stuttering right now?
It is like the 1970s. You mentioned the winter of discontent. OK, so we have loads of strikes every day. We have high inflation, cost of living crisis. Yes, we had all that. But there was another thing about 1979. Nothing worked. And we're back there again. Nothing in Britain works. The NHS doesn't work. Education doesn't work. The Bank of England, supposed to keep inflation at 2%, let it go to over 10%. It's broken. Everything's broken. Transport's broken. Housing is broken. We picked out the top 16. Nothing in Britain works anymore.
It's a very, very bleak prospectus, but I suppose the exercise in terms of pointing out everything that is broken and the way in which it's broken, by doing that, perhaps we can learn how to fix it. Does your paper suggest any ways in which we need to tackle these big problems?
No, like Harry and Meghan, I'm bringing out a sequel, and that sequel will be Fixing Broken Britain. But nothing in this paper simply identifies all the problems. But I think most people out in the country are already aware of that. They try to catch a bus and there isn't one. They try to catch a train and it's cancelled. They try to get a good school place for their kid and they can't. Everyone knows that things just aren't working. Even the government isn't working.
Why are things not working? Because, as you point out in the paper, we have the highest levels of taxation on record. We spend more on, for example, healthcare than we've ever spent before,
and yet,
but we're not getting the results.
Where's the output? Queues of ambulances waiting for hours to get people into A&E. 4,000 people every day have to wait more than 12 hours at A&E before they get attended to. Where's the money going? Well, it's about a third of the people in the NHS are actually employed in medical care, doctors and nurses. It's too heavy with bureaucracy. And the same is true of the civil service. And the same is true almost everywhere. Britain doesn't work. There's no one at the top with management skills to say, right, we're cutting out 7 layers of bureaucracy, we're going to do efficient practices, we're going to do this. No one does it. Nobody seems to care anymore.
You point out in the paper that there's something called treasury mindset, where people are more focused on sort of abacus economics than delivering growth or change or perhaps more radical solutions.
Yes,
was Liz Truss therefore right, in your view, to sort of want to take on those elements of the state? And might she have, if she was allowed to by her own backbenchers, might she have provided a solution?
Well, someone certainly needs to take on the Treasury mindset. They are concerned with they're concerned with interest rates, with exchange rates. But what about the money supply? They're supposed to keep the money supply down so that we only get 2% inflation. They let it go. In the first round of quantitative easing, the money was more or less anaesthetised in bank vaults. It didn't leak into spending, so it didn't cause inflation. But in the second round, it was used for furlough, eat out to help out. It went straight into spending, and guess what's happened to inflation? So we certainly need someone to change that mindset. Could Liz Truss have done it? Yes, I think maybe she could. But she didn't have the support of the MPs. The problem with the Tory party is you tend to elect leaders who are popular in the country, but not in Parliament. And if Boris had stood again and won again, he would have been popular in the country, but he wouldn't have had the support of the MPs, which is probably why he didn't stand.